Thank you indeed. It's a great privilege to be here and to speak to you. And thank you to organizers, thank you to all who support this conference and who are interested in my country, which is now under the direct military aggression and under the direct military attack from the Russian Federation. Now, I'm going to speak about religious freedom in Ukraine. How I sound? It's good. About religious freedom in Ukraine. Probably many of you aware that Ukraine enjoys rather good standards in the sphere of religious freedom. You can see this index of government involvement in religion. The less, the better standards in religious freedom. And you can see that Ukraine has Ukraine score is 2.6, which is rather decent. Compared to Belarus, 6 and 1, and compare, for example, to tiny country of San Marino, which is 0.1. I deliberately didn't include some Asian countries, like Uzbekistan or Tajikistan, with awful standards in religious freedom, about 9 and some, 10 and some. But in the background of European country, you can see that Ukrainian standards are rather decent. What is the main reason for this? Main reason for this is religious pluralism, which is the main distinguishing feature of Ukrainian religious landscape and key for understanding the essence of socio-religious processes in my country. Several centers of religious power exist in Ukraine. These centers of power compete each other, and no one can dominate and suppress religious minorities and suppressed smaller religion as in many neighboring countries. You can see in this picture members of Ukrainian Council for All Ukrainian Council for Churches and Religious Organization in Brussels 2 years ago. You also can see religious composition of Ukraine. No one of denomination in Ukraine exceeds 20 or 25%. So all these centers of main actors are comparable. No one can dominate and no one can suppress a religious minority. Despite the very fact of the acute competition between the largest churches, Ukrainian society is rather tolerant toward different religions and beliefs, and this is second main reason for religious freedom in Ukraine. You can see results of opinion poll where 74% of all questions says that any religion that proclaims ideals of virtue, love, mercy, and does not enlarge the existence of other people has the right to exist. And only the religion I confess is true, only 5% of questions. So, once again, two main reasons, religious pluralism and religious tolerance toward different religions, contribute to decent standards in religious sphere in Ukraine. These standards and this model of church-state relations were undermined by the regime of then President Viktor Yanukovych, who came to office in 2010. He has signaled his new religion policy in the very first day in presidential office. And the essence of President Yanukovych's religious policy lied in special relation with the Moscow Patriarchate and personally with Patriarch Kirill, discrimination of the Kiev Patriarchate, aversion of Greek Catholics, desire to control the church life, and strongly influence the political behavior of the clergy and religious leaders. Society immediately signaled about the deterioration of religious freedom. You can see index of restriction of religion, mid-2007, 26, and mid-2010, 4 and even. And you remember that the less, the better. Situation changed in 2014, but it's another story. In December the 1st, 2013, after the President Yanukovych rejected to sign association with European Union, massive rebellion or massive demonstration occurred in Kiev and started the Revolution of Dignity, or Euro Revolution. Religious associations, churches played crucial role in this revolution. Press felt that people need much more care than in normal times. They were willing to stand between protesters and riot police, to serve, to profess, and to comfort people in the bitter cold and among the flames. Dozens of protesters have found shelter within St. Michael Monastery of Kievan Patriarchate, prayerful standing between protesters and riot police on the railroad. This is a friend of mine, former Marine, now priest of Kievan Patriarchate, who trying to prevent a clash between protesters and police in December 2013. This is church hierarch, also during the Revolution of Dignity, convinced opposition leaders to start negotiation with President Yanukovych after bloodshed day of Ukrainian, during the day of Ukrainian unification, January 25, 2014. I'm on the probably here. So, after the assault of protesters on December 10, the community of the Ukrainian Catholic University has called for civil disobedience against the president and his government, and has proclaimed that after this night, to follow the orders of the government would be contrary to human conscience. It was unprecedented statement from the behalf of religious community in Ukraine. Another unprecedented statement went from the hierarchy of Kievan Patriarchate. After the shooting of protesters on February 20, 2014, the Holy Synod of the Kiev Patriarchate voted to suspend commemoration of the President and civil authorities of Ukraine during services in consequence of their use of firearms against the people who they had sworn to serve and to protect. After, as all of you are aware, after the fall of a regime of Yanukovych, immediately the aggression of Russian Federation started. During and after the annexation of Crimea, pro-Russian Cossacks expelled faithful of Kiev Patriarchate from their church buildings, and violation of human rights, religious freedom in Crimea jump on the enormous scale. Especially it hurt Crimean Tatars. You can see a funeral of Reshat Ametov, who was kidnapped by pro-Russian self-defense on March 3, 2014, and his body was found with numerous traces of violence. Persecution of Crimean Muslims now is very common in occupied Crimea. It includes Muslim activist house raids, vandalism against religious buildings, mosques, and holy sites. Ancient Muslim graves in Crimea are in danger. Crimean Tatar TV station is to be closed. Searches are carried out in so-called madrasa, Muslim schools for children. Mass conviction against imams, heads of religious schools occurred. Entry bans for leaders of Crimea Tatars Mustafa Jamilov and Rufat Chubarov, and so on and so forth. In March of 2014, following the Russian annexation of Crimea, Reform Rabbi Michael Kapustin of Simferopol was forced to leave Crimea after denouncing Russian actions. His synagogue had been defaced by a swastika, and a month later, vandals defaced Simferopol monument to more than 4,000 Jews killed by the Nazis in July 1942. Terrorists in occupied Donbass area actively deployed Orthodox rhetoric and Orthodox symbols. You can see in this picture terrorists from so-called Russian Orthodox Army, and emblem bears the inscription Orthodoxy Odess and Life for the Tsar. This is a list of prayer houses and church buildings seized by guerrillas of so-called Donetsk People Republic and Lugansk People Republic. Very impressive list. Mormons, Church, Jehovah's Witnesses, Kingdom, Halls of Kingdom, Pentecostals, Baptists, Charismatic, and this is pastor of Assembly of God, Sergei Kosyak, after he been arrested and tortured in so-called Donetsk People Republic. This is his back after so-called negotiation. And on June 8, 2014, after the festive Trinity Sunday service at the Transfiguration Church in Slavyansk, pro-Russian gunmen detained 4 members of the church. The men were brutally beaten and killed. Their bodies were found in a mass grave after the guerrillas had left the city and the Ukrainian army took the city over. On June 14, in a terrorist attack on a bridge in Mariupol, DNR guerrillas killed Sergei Skorobogach, a pastor of the church Renewal who chaired the council of church of this city, which is now under the control of Ukraine. Despite all these difficulties and all this problem on the front battle line with Russian Federation and pro-Russian guerrillas, Ukrainian parliament took very important steps toward religious freedom, strengthening religious freedom in Ukraine, and this is a list what done during the post-Maidan, post-revolution days or month. So, new law on higher education was adopted, which is very important for a religious school and universities. Parliament adopted law on prison chaplaincy. Government issued decree on military chaplaincy. Theology was recognized as an educational discipline. Amendments to the law of education allows church and religious organizations to establish public school and universities. Special tariffs for religious organizations introduced. Tax exemption for religious organizations. It's just the most important steps towards strengthening religious freedom on a legal basis. And now I believe Dr. Yurash followed this issue and will speak about particular issues of church-state relations in Ukraine, about legislation in Ukraine, and about changing situation in our country on the realm of religion and religious freedom. Thank you for your attention.